Welcome to the Madison podcast. My name is Ben Lavender, your typical host, because my colleagues decided to stop interviewing people. So it's just me and Anthony. And today, another very special guest, Miss Kaitlyn Chen from Douglas Elliman, has been so gracious to decide to share with us her wisdom, her knowledge, and all kidding aside, Kaitlyn, I believe you do actually have, because I was being sarcastic, but you do have quite a bit, just based on what we were talking about before jumping on this. I think people are going to find your background pretty interesting, and we could do a mix today of providing value and just being wacky and fun. So let's start off with what I always like to start off with, is tell me, how did you get into the real estate business? And actually not just how you did it, but why you did it. Because some people would be like, well, it's a hard job. Look, some people also think it's a really easy job, right? Because it's like, oh, you just, show a house and get paid. And I wish it were that simple.
It's so far from the truth. Honestly, we don't just open doors for people. There's so many things that go on.
They open them themselves.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess the big why, which is everyone wants to know that, why real estate? For me, it was a lifestyle choice.
Right.
So what that exactly means, I was in grad school while I started my real estate education and courses. And during that time, I was kind of going back and forth between, okay, do I want to go into corporate? Do I want to do a 9-to-5? Or do I really want to take control of my own time and my schedule? And obviously, I feel like everyone that really gets into the real estate business, at first, they see the glitz and glam online.
Literally, yeah.
That was what lured me in.
And I appreciate the honesty.
Yeah. But I would like to think I'm a pretty type A strategic person. So
after talking to you for 20 seconds, I felt that immediately, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're definitely a type A. Yeah.
I'm for sure type A. So I kind of had to balance between the pros and cons of what kind of career path I wanted to go down. I mean, obviously, I got my master's in health administration. I studied healthcare for basically 6 years. And then...
It's a long freaking time.
Yeah, it's a long time. And it just... something flipped in my brain where I was like, I need to take control of my own schedule. I need my own time. I need a career where there's no cap in, I guess, financial value, if that's what you call it. And that is something that corporate and being self-employed is different in.
So, Kaitlyn, I have to ask you, what about the mental battle in your brain of, I've put 6 years into, healthcare administration, right? So it's done 6 years into it, and now you're just going to completely switch into real estate. How do you...
justify it?
Yeah, not just justify it, but how do you have that conversation with yourself and rationalize it? How did you do that?
So, firstly, for me, I consistently, till this day, I tell myself, I'm young, I have time to explore my career. If not now, then when would I do it?
Right.
I feel like now is the perfect time. I always have my my master's degree to fall back on.
True.
I have my healthcare experience to fall back on. So, I mean, I feel like I look calm and collected on the outside, but inside my brain is spiraling. But I kind of remind myself of those things.
That's most people, even if they're successful or older or whatever. As they say, everyone acts like they know what they're doing. No one does.
Yeah, no one knows what they're doing.
Maybe you feel 75% of the time you got it together, but everyone has those moments where it's just nuts. But continue, please. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. So for me, I was in the middle of grad school. I was in my last semester, and I was just like, okay, let me just take the course. I'm pretty good at studying.
But what made you think real estate?
Oh, honestly, I just binged a lot of real estate videos.
That's hilarious.
On YouTube.
Yeah.
I really like interior design, just going and looking at different properties. I think that's really fun. And for me, I would say looking on Zillow, StreetEasy, those were my weird little hobbies. When I had
you do it for fun.
Yeah, when I had nothing to do.
That's great.
Yeah, when I had nothing to do in college and I just needed to pass time, I'm like, okay, let me look at my future home.
Right.
And that's kind of it. It's pretty simple. I feel like a lot of people have crazy stories, but for me, it was at the back of my head. I was always a little interested. I just never ripped the Band-Aid off, and I didn't know how to start.
And then you finally did.
Yeah, I just did it.
Okay, where did you grow up?
I grew up here in Douglaston.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. I grew up in next door, well, 2 towns over in Great Neck.
Oh.
Before England a bit.
We're neighbors, basically.
Yeah, exactly. So is that where you do the majority of your business now? Well, actually, before we even get into that, how long have you been in the business for?
So I have been in the business for just about 8 months. So
Okay.
not even a year.
If it makes you feel any better, you are not my least experienced person
Okay.
on the podcast. I have had people on this who have literally been in the business for a week.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and you know what it is, because regardless of experience level, I feel like everyone has something that they bring to the table.
Mm-hmm.
Right, it could be just drive, determination. I know agents that have been doing this for under a year that are out producing agents who have been doing this for 20.
Wow.
It's one of those things, this business, is that experience is obviously important, but there's a saying like, are you doing the same year every year, right? Because then your experience is irrelevant. If you're not growing or anything, well, you're not pushing yourself, you're not trying new things, there's no difference between the you from who you are today and the you from who you are from, 2 years ago. So you will see that. I will try and not bombard you with Ben's wisdom. But, okay, so 8 months in, talk to us about your experience in the business. It could be just dealing with people in the industry. Is it what you expected?
Oh.
Is it shockier than you thought?
Oh man. I don't even know where to start. Everything was not what I expected at all. Obviously, you see the glitz and glam.
Right.
You have reality TV shows on Netflix. That is so not what happens in real life.
Unfortunately, no.
Yeah, unfortunately, maybe fortunately.
Yeah.
But
It doesn't look that easy.
Right.
Well, it's not as easy as it looks, is what I meant to say.
No,
so when
exactly.
did reality first hit you? What was your first experience?
my first ever deal that I did was the tenant side. And the way that I kind of procured that deal, I just went up to the girl at this social media networking event. And I said, hey, I love your videos. I love who you are. I heard like you've been looking to move out. And I just gave her my information. And that was my rookie mistake number 1. I didn't take her information.
Right.
I only gave mine. But thank goodness she reached out to me about like 3 months later, 3 to 4 months later.
Must have made a good impression.
Yeah, I hope so. And then that was kind of it. We just moved forward. We had conversations. I helped her find her place in the city. And it was a really big chapter for her and as well as me.
So that was for her, she was leasing something for a business, or that was an individual?
Just herself.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what did that experience teach you, if anything? Like doing it your first time, were you like terrified of how to conduct it? Did you have help?
I did have help. So prior to being at Douglas Elliman, I was at another firm. I would just reach out to the people within my firm and ask them questions here and there. But most of the time, I think I did everything on my own. I utilized resources that they gave through like their technology platforms. I mean, like I feel like everybody uses ChatGPT.
Everyone should be using ChatGPT.
It's a great resource.
Yeah.
But I feel like I don't know if this is appropriate to say, but I raw dogged it. I just did it myself.
That's fine, yeah.
I learned everything on my own, and obviously it being my first deal ever, I had no idea what I was doing. Right. It was so crazy because she gave me certified checks and I lost them.
Oh, shoot.
It was bad. It was really, really bad. Oof. I was so apologetic. Thank goodness. She was really understanding. And after that day, like, I don't think I can even ever make a mistake like that because it just like triggers me. I'm just like, whoa, I can't go back there.
So that's a really good thing. So experience, or what I like to say without insulting people who truly experience this, is that having PTSD from your mistakes in the business will cause you to not make those mistakes again. So for instance, I've been doing this just over 13 years now, and I remember some deals that I screwed up on and I made the mistake. I didn't calculate the income properly. They stick with you because when someone's buying the biggest asset purchase of their life, we've courted the agent, let's say, for a couple months to get the business. So I'm not only am I losing a relationship, but I'm losing the client, the house that they work for. It's a really, really bad feeling, and you lose sleep at night. Yeah. So those things will probably keep happening. Just a heads up.
No, right? Like, and to add on to that.
Yeah, it's a good way to learn.
Like, small mistakes, big mistakes, whether it's sales skills, negotiation tactics, those little things that are part of the real estate transaction. Yeah. I wouldn't like to call them mistakes, but more so learning experiences. And when I do the next deal, I look back and reflect at previous deals I've done, and I'm just like, oh, okay, I should have done it differently this way because it would have worked better for my client in their favor in XYZ.
100%.
And you just learn from every single deal. It's very different.
Another thing I will add is that you'll also see that no deal is truly the same.
It's not.
Because you can have like the identical parameters of the property, right? Mm-hmm. But then you have the different people involved. And the saying of like there are too many cooks in the kitchen, New York real estate is the epitome of there are too many cooks in the kitchen. No offense to the attorneys, but it would be much simpler without you. Anytime I do a deal out of state, it takes half the time to close and probably half the amount of work.
Yeah, I would assume so.
It's just much easier, but whatever, it keeps things interesting, and that's ultimately why. Again, I love this business because, well, two reasons. One, and I think you'll identify with this as well, Kaitlyn, is like the amount of self growth that you have to do. And if you are the type of person that loves to work on yourself and becoming the best version of yourself, as corny as it sounds, this is the business for it. Plus, every day is different.
That's
true. Every day. So speaking of that, walk us through like your typical day in the business, right? You don't have to give away your secrets, but like, what does a typical day look like from you from, morning to bed?
So first, I like to try to do this, but I really don't commit to it as much as I'd like to. Yeah. But it's going to the gym.
And that's a great one.
Yeah.
My favorite.
So working out, just getting those endorphins in your body, I feel like it has made a massive impact on my workday. I feel a lot more productive.
Way better.
And just the hard tasks first. So signing contracts, making phone calls, prospecting, calling, just emailing, all of those administrative tasks I like to do first thing in the morning.
Get them out the way, bang.
Exactly.
Right.
And then usually midday to the evening, if I have to go out for tours, showings, meeting a client, that's kind of when I'll schedule that in. And that's basically it. It's like admin work and meeting the people in real life.
It's pretty simple. I do like what you said about like getting the hard stuff done first. It's so key. I try to live by this rule as well, and I function the same way. I go to gym first thing in the morning when I don't dislocate my shoulder for the 10th time. That happened 2 weeks ago as of yesterday. That wasn't fun. So it's because it sets the tone for the day. You feel good. It's like you said, the endorphins, especially in the winter, you really, really need it. But banging out like those harder phone calls first thing in the morning, because as the day goes by, I teach the same thing to my team. It's like, if you're trying to have a difficult conversation with a customer, let's say a client, despite us advising them to or conversating about whatever, we told them you should probably lock their rate. They didn't lock the rate, and now we have to tell them rates are higher. What do you want to do? Like, have these conversations first because it serves two people. It serves us because we have the energy to do it, and it's also from our consumer's perspective. If they're at work and they had a rough day, and then we call them with some bad news about whatever at 5 o'clock, it's going to just make their day even worse.
I know.
It's like, so just, rip the Band-Aid off, do it. Okay, so going back to your schedule and how you conduct yourself, because again, you are newer, the average agent doesn't know what to do, right?
Well, yeah, that was me.
Throughout the day. So, like, how did you come up with that?
Oh, well, I have crippling ADHD. It's so bad.
Some say it's an advantage.
It might be, because when I do my work and I hyper-focus, I feel like I'm really good at what I do. But obviously, in the beginning, for me, it was setting up systems and processes to kind of set the tone of my day, set the structure, and those were the things that I learned from my master's degree. So I got a lot of value out of that degree, and a lot of the work translate over well into running a business like real estate, because, I mean, as a self-employed individual, I am my own business.
Right.
So back to your question.
It's another thing that takes people a long time to figure this out is that you can't treat this like a job. You know, you can if you want to close a few transactions a year, but if, you know, just like on the side. But if you're trying to make this a business or a job that you can actually earn a living from, you have to treat it like a business.
Exactly. And not only that, you have to be a professional. You have to show up as a professional. You have to act in accordance like a professional. So for me, I was really...
Preach, you know, more people need to hear this. It's something that the business is strongly lacking. It's why the general public has a negative view of both of our sides. And in their defense, I would say that most of the time that negative viewpoint of us is warranted. The majority of the people in this industry, similar to you, Kaitlyn, like they got in because of the glitz and glam, and you know they were just like, oh, it's easy, let's like hustle for deals, make some phone calls, and they don't conduct themselves in a professional manner. So let's ask you, what do you feel some things that you do which basically separate you as a professional versus just someone that is like trying to hustle for some deals?
So, I guess a more like superficial, I don't know if we want to say it's superficial, but one thing I always do is come with a closing gift.
Oh,
so,
cool.
Even though I'm very early into my career, I feel like that customer experience at the end of the transaction, at the end of the process, it leaves a long-lasting impression on your clients, and that's how
do you have a go-to gift?
It's an Apple tag.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I get all my clients a little Apple tag. I get them a little leather case.
Like to stalk them?
Oh, no, not, well, maybe I should, right? No, I shouldn't. I give it to them, and I write them a little note with a card. I deliver it to them. I'm just like, here, put this on your keys. You'll never lose your keys. And this is my little congratulations gift to you.
Genius.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it sticks with them. No one, honestly, I don't know a ton of agents that do post-closing gifts. Everyone that says that they do always says that it's worth it.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a nice little gesture. I don't think it needs to be anything crazy.
Yeah, it really doesn't have to be. And like Apple tags, they're just so tiny.
Yeah, it's simple. I have one actually. I've never used it. Are they easy to use?
Oh, I love them. So I lose my keys all the time.
Got it.
So on my phone, I just click the play button and it starts ringing, and I'm just like, okay, I know where my keys are now.
But it only works within what, like 50 feet or something like that?
I have no idea.
Yeah, I was thinking about like putting it on my grandma. My grandma's she comes to visit from London once in a while, and she's in her mid-90s. So sometimes her favorite thing to do is like she goes on these walks.
Does she wander off?
Yeah, but like to the extent where we don't see her for 6 hours, and we have to call the police to like find her. Which is fine, you know, because it's, you know, it's the Great Neck police. You know, my parents live in Kensington, so the Kensington police will drive around and try and find her. And she's not harming anyone. She typically ends up like at a random synagogue or something.
Okay.
So we know where to search, but it's hilarious. But we were saying that we should put an air tag on her, but it's not going to be useful if it only works within like 50 feet. But
No, it tracks. So like I put it in my luggage when I go fly.
Shoot.
Yeah. And when
luggage has got to be key. That's
yeah.
massive, especially like if they lose your luggage. I mean,
you know exactly where it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, an Apple tag is great.
Yeah. Okay, I got to get more, and I got to use them. It just looks a little intimidating. I don't know why. Okay, I had another question for you.
Yes.
Given again, I hate to keep repeating it, but I say it as a compliment that you're newer in the business and you have some deals going. You mentioned today you got a listing going. Very excited. How do you go about generating business? Because that is a huge question mark, and obviously not something they teach you when you're getting licensed.
So for me, before I get into my personal strategy, I want to share that I am aware there are multiple ways of generating business, whether it's through referrals, door knocking, cold calling, mailers, whatever. But for me, when I got into this industry, I relied 100% on social media. So
okay, cool.
100% of my deals have been done through social media.
Amazing.
And I have been constantly told to not focus on social media. Don't use that as a way to generate business because it won't be sustainable. Although I do agree with that to some extent, it's been pretty successful for me. It got me off the ground, and it's what is taking me into like a greater direction.
Do you have a particular approach to social media?
So it's as simple as just posting.
Yeah.
You just have to develop an online presence an online brand, and I've been personally trying to break into, like, they call it lifestyle and career. It's a certain niche online that people really love to watch, and especially being in New York, I love to take advantage of that because people, like on TikTok, everyone uses TikTok these days.
Right.
People are very, very interested in, oh, what is someone doing in New York City? Whether you're a nurse, you're a teacher, you're a mortgage loan officer, a real estate agent. So that's kind of the framework that I work off of. And
so it's like a combination of, because you're talking to an old millennial here. It's a combination of like work and like lifestyle New York City type content.
Exactly. So it's more so about me as a person rather than just real estate only.
Right.
It's about my own personal interests. I mean, I love beauty, skincare, makeup, fashion. I share things like that on my social media. I keep it pretty real. I don't like to make it completely about real estate, and people have appreciated that. I also...
Well, they get to know you as an individual, right? Mm-hmm. And it's a easy way to let people know who you are, right? Because from their perspective, they're watching your content for what? A week to even a year before they reach out to you.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like you have to, once they do reach out, it's like, I'm Kaitlyn, this is what I'm like, this is my, like they know your personality.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
As long as it matches, obviously, which, as you said, you keep it real, so you don't have that issue. Is the business that you're generating on social media coming through like your already established sphere?
No.
Or it's new? Okay.
Not at all. Complete strangers. I don't know them. I've never met them before.
That's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it really is. And through these experiences, I've met so many cool people, like art directors. Like, where would you meet an art director from Miami in New York? Yeah. Unless, like, you go to a bar and you see them and have a conversation.
Yeah.
Or, like, executives from, like, other companies. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like in my normal 9-to-5 job, I wouldn't have ever had these opportunities or experiences just to meet people, you know?
Yeah. And which content that you're posting, Kaitlyn, are they primarily resonating with, or you could even say engaging with?
I think it would probably be the videos where I deliver value. So it's kind of weird. I'm actually not too sure myself where people are finding me. I just know it's through TikTok. And the videos that I get the most engagement on is probably the ones where I'm talking about my own personal experiences in real estate, how I got into the business, actionable steps on how to pass the real estate exam, why I got into real estate, healthcare versus real estate, stuff like that.
Yeah, you're going over, I would say, it's not just that it's unique scenarios, but because it sounds like you're getting pretty granular on the content, right? So the majority of social media content, and I'm definitely guilty of this to a certain extent, is being like overly ambiguous, right? For like just cheap, quick content, you know, because look, in my defense, mortgages are boring as hell, right? I sell a product that people need, not a product that they want. They want a house or a condo, whatever it is. They need a mortgage to pay for it. I'm aware of this. So do you find that's what it is? Like, are you getting specific, like, nitty gritty going over these scenarios? Okay, and it's not all just the positive stuff, right?
Oh no, it's everything. I want to say that I keep it real and I tell the good and the bad, and the small community that I've built on TikTok, they really do appreciate it. I have one person that has been following me since I started, and he's always engaging in my posts, and it's just nice to see that other people find the information that I deliver online valuable.
It's lovely.
Yeah.
Do you post anything on YouTube?
No, I don't. Well, I used to, but nothing relevant to real estate.
YouTube it's so interesting. So I post it to LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, and obviously Facebook. And for some reason, the YouTube comments, I get roasted all the time.
Really? Are you doing shorts or like?
I'm doing shorts, yeah.
It might be shorts.
Yeah. Which is cool, you know, it's just part of the territory, but it's so funny how like people are so much nastier on YouTube, but like on Instagram, it's just typically it's fine, Facebook is fine. It's just maybe people feel a little bit more anonymous on YouTube, I'm not sure.
That's so crazy.
I don't mind, because it's like, I'll take the engagement, you know, bring it on.
No, I agree.
It's like,
but my experience has been opposite.
Really?
So I don't use YouTube, but I switch between Instagram and TikTok, and TikTok is much nicer in my opinion. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it. I feel like TikTok is a woman's app and
Interesting.
Instagram is a man's app.
Yeah, that makes sense. I haven't logged into TikTok for maybe 2 years.
Oh,
So all my content's auto-posted. So
you
that
should
could
try
be why.
TikTok.
It's so much, you
It
know,
is a
that's all
lot.
that it is. And I'm trying to like, I mean, I'm posting on it. We still
Mhm.
post on TikTok 3-4 times a week. I just don't log into it. That would probably help with the engagement too. But maybe because TikTok is a younger audience that is more pleasant, I suppose. I'm
I think of it
guessing.
in a way where we are helping the next generation. I don't know anyone my age that is using, like, quite frankly, no one is using Google to search up their realtor. They're using TikTok.
Right.
They're using TikTok search engine. So for me, I'm not here to, like,
NYC Realtor.
yeah, exactly. NYC Realtor. When they search up NYC apartment, my video shows up, not anyone else's. So I think it's like
Yeah.
a great strategy and a platform to take advantage of.
It's awesome. Yeah, I mean, look, everyone should be doing it. There's no excuse. I feel like your generation isn't as scared of like video and posting and stuff.
Mhm.
My generation and the generations older than me are freaking terrified
Oh yeah.
of doing it. Like if I mention like, oh, you want to do a podcast, you want to shoot some videos, like, no, and it's just like, no one cares, right? These, you know, Gen Zers or even like younger than you, Kaitlyn, are.
Oh, I feel old
doing-
when you say that.
Right, that was honestly my goal, so you got my pain. A lot of them are trying so hard to get their 15 minutes of fame. They're putting their heart and soul into content, whatever it is, right? So we're not accidentally going to go viral and be judged based on our content about mortgages and 15% down and, you know, how the market's doing. It's not going to happen, and if it does, it's good for you. So no one's really going to judge. Okay, so time-wise, we are close. So let's wrap this up. Ooh, I do want to try something. We'll get to that after.
Okay.
Again, given that you're off to a really good start.
Thank you.
So I have to ask the very boring interview question. What's the 5-year, 10-year plan? Like, where do you see yourself? Because again, you got great momentum. So I'm curious as well.
Well, 5-year plan. Hopefully.
World domination.
I haven't really thought about it too in depth, given that I feel like I'm pretty type A and strategic, but that's the one thing
Yeah.
I haven't put too much thought in. But I think number one, pay off my student loans.
That would help.
Yeah, it would
Yeah.
really help. Number one, student loans. Obviously, build my referral business. I would ideally like to do one deal a month, so 12 a year.
Yeah.
But anything further than that, I haven't really thought of, honestly.
Well, what was it? Last year, I think 70% of realtors in the business didn't close a single deal.
Oh, wow.
Right? So doing one a month is excellent. Would probably put you in the top like 1% is my guess. And it's a good goal. I mean, I think from what I've seen, because I see production on all sides, and I think the average agent in New York does like 4 deals a year is my guess. That's even full time. Right, so 1 a month is definitely doable. I know a bunch that do like 1 to 3 a month. It's not easy to do.
Oh yeah, I know it's not easy.
People listening from out of state is like 1 a month. That's easy. Like try and do that in New York. It's not the same
You can't.
thing. Yeah, it's doable. It's just you have to build a system. So one thing I would mention, Ben's wisdom, is that especially given your personality type. I mean, this is a personal thing for me. You may experience it. Is that I've gone through these like you could say peaks and valleys of.
I've gone through them already.
Yeah, but not emotionally. What I'm referring to is like the peaks of valleys where you're grinding and versus strategy, right? So you'll say have 10 months straight where you're on fire, right? Boom, and you're grinding, you're making your calls, you're doing the work, and then for could be a week, could be 6 months, then you're more focused on like strategy wise, okay, I can only grind so much to get this business. How else can I generate business? So like you're talking about social media as one form to generate business. And then like what you'll slowly add others, right? So if social media is pulling you 5 units a year, okay, and then you try, let's just make it up, mailers, right? And you do mailers consistently, that's another 4 a year. You do cold calls, that's another 5 a year. Or then you try cold calls and you realize you hate them, right? I think, honestly, cold calls is a rite of passage. I don't know about real estate, but in mortgages, you have to do it. You have to just know how to, and then once you're decent at it, you could stop.
I did one cold call the
God.
first month in the
How
business.
was that?
Bad. The guy picked up the phone, and I could already tell he was annoyed with me calling.
Yeah.
And after that day, I never did another cold call again. I refuse. I really refuse. I think there are other strategies that I can get better at, and cold calling will not be one of them.
Yeah, I mean, look, it takes, I wouldn't say courage, but it's just consistency, right? Because you're dealing with that negativity. But the skill set, I say don't completely say goodbye to it, right? Because it's a good skill set to even have. Well, again, I can only talk from my industry, but everyone in the mortgage business who does well at one point was a phone, I don't want to say terrorist, but pick another word like that. And it's just like, it's kind of like a rite of passage. Real estate, maybe not. Okay, so I want to try something, Kaitlyn.
Okay.
I didn't prepare you for this, or maybe I did last week. So
I don't know.
Yeah, so we can edit and do whatever. So we have a new thing that we're trying, which we call the mundane mic drop. So you know how like on a podcast, people will say the most basic thing and make it sound like it's genius, right? So for instance, you know, the sky is blue, right? Like just pick something industry related that is so basic, but everyone knows, and just do your best to make it sound like you have discovered gold or oxygen or the moon. That's the challenge. Take your time.
The one thing that everyone has consistently shared with me, their one piece of wisdom: don't do business with friends. Just don't do it. Just don't do it.
It's great because it just sounds like good advice, honestly. So we'll take it, we'll leave it. Now, where can or how would you prefer people reach out to you?
Oh, I really like...
Before you
Go ahead.
continue, actually, so let me add this as well. And who should reach out to you? What type of clients do you typically like to work with that you could best serve?
I would love to work with first-time home buyers.
It's good.
Yeah.
They're very greatly underserved right now. It's actually first-time home buyers are the smallest percentage of buyers in the market right now.
Oh, wow.
Which is crazy, but that's changing, hopefully. So yeah, first-time home buyers are great. And where can these first-time home buyers reach you?
They could just text me or email me. So my email is kaitlyn.chen@element.com, or my phone number is 917-821-5600.
Biggity bang. Thank you, Kaitlyn.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. And we are out.